Hello everyone, welcome to this video. I primarily do a lot of Azure videos, so for a change I decided to do one for the AWS, which is I'm currently learning as well. So EC2 is EC2 instance is one of the core computing services that AWS offers. So in this quick video we are gonna launch one EC2 instance and see how it works. So to do that you gotta have a free account from Amazon, and we'll try to use resources that are in the free tier. Okay, so all you need to do once you log in, you come over here, you can click on services, you can go to the EC2. Let's make that as a favorite so it stays under my favorite, so we're going to use it a lot. So I'm just going to click on EC2, and that is going to bring to this particular view. And over here, if you read few things, we'll come to the EC2 console. We are redesigning the EC2 console to make it easier to use and improve performance. We will release a new screens periodically. We encourage you to try them and let us know where we can make improvements. To switch between the old console and the new console, use the EC2 experience toggle. Okay, now over here under resources, it's just telling me what I have right now. Looks like I have one security group, but I have 0 instances, no elastic IPs, no key pair. It's like there is really nothing in here. It's kind of a brand new account that I have with me. So with that, let's get started and do some deployments. Okay, so the easiest way to launch one instance is like you have the launch instance over right here. So click on that button. So to get started, launch an Amazon EC2 instance, which is a virtual server in the cloud. So one thing that you notice that here is the region that is currently selected. So here it's also giving you the node. Your instance will be launched in the East US Ohio region. That is what is selected. If you want to change your region, you can do it from here. Okay, and go to something else and use that to deploy your resource. By default, this is going to be my default region. Okay, so let's just click on the launch instance over here and launch instance, and let's see what happens. So what you have here, so it brought us to the step 1. Okay, and if you look at that very top, this is actually 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 step process, and any time in the process you can cancel and exit if you like. So the first step is to choose an Amazon machine image, which is the AMI. This is really a template that contains software configuration, and it's a read-only system, so it includes operating system, application server, and applications required to launch your instance. You can select an AMI provided by AWS or user community or the AWS marketplace, or you can even bring in one of your own AMIs. Again, Amazon machine image. So let's see what kind of images we have over here. Okay, so one thing that you notice that there are a lot of images in here, right? So, and some of images they're even highlighted. Hey, they're saying, hey, try this one out. Now one thing that I'm going to recommend for any of the labs that we're going to do on Amazon, so you look for this free tier eligible, that mark for anything that you're doing, because if we are going to use that, hopefully there we will not be charged at least for a year or so, and even after that if we use up to certain amount, we should not be charged. So here, for example, Amazon Linux 2, that is a free tier eligible, and Red Hat, again free tier eligible. Even Linux 8 you can play with. SUSE Linux, which is again one of my favorite Linux distro, free tier eligible. Ubuntu, my very best. I'm actually running and recording this video using a Ubuntu 20.04, so you can use this as a free tier. And even Windows, so you have Windows 2019 base with containers. So those two are free tier. You have servers that is not Again, you have the Debian 10, that is free tier. Let's see what else we have. We have a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm just gonna stick to 2019 base. Okay, that's sounds like pretty recent, free tier eligible, and we're gonna use that one. So in this one, let me look at few things here. The root device type is EBS, so elastic block storage, which is good, and virtualization type is HVM. ENA enabled is yes, so that's fine. Don't worry about all of that, and it's a 64-bit architecture, and that is kind of what I wanted. So let's select that one, and let's see what where we are. So once you hit this one, you actually have a list of families, okay, in this particular type of Windows system. You can have T2 Nano, you can have T2 small, medium, large, and you can go up to, like, you're going bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, oh my god, that list is like unbelievable. Like 48 number of cores. I think this is the core. What is it? Just go and take a look at it. Go to the very top. Yeah, so vCPUs up to 48. That's just unbelievable. Who would use that one? So and I would recommend don't try to use any of those. That would be very, very costly. So here what I'll do, I'm gonna free tier eligible, I'm gonna look for that particular mark again. So this, I know if I select that one, this is going to be free tier eligible system. It's a T2. I have one vCPU and 1 gigs of memory, and I have an instance storage that is going to be EBS only, elastic block storage, which is okay, and low to moderate network performance, I'm fine, and you do have IPv6 coverage. So now we are in step 2. Again, you can read this. I would always recommend it that you do when you are starting. So this provides a wide selection of instance types optimized to fit different use cases. So this is what we're going to use. Now the next one would be, so you can click the review and launch at any phase, but we're going to go through every single one. So let's click on configure instance details. So in the configure instance detail, let's see, what do we really need to configure. So again, read this, configure the instance to suit your requirements. You can launch multiple instances from the same AMI, request spot instances to take advantage of the lower pricing, assign an access management role for the instance, and small. So here I just need one instance, that is fine. And here you can do a launch into auto scaling group, which we are not doing in this particular lab. You can request for the spot instance, that will give you a lower price, but we are not going to do that either. For this lab, we are not creating a new VPC. We're just going to go with the VPC, the default VPC, and we are going to go with the default subnet. And for the auto assign public IP, use subnet setting enable. I think that is also fine. Placement group, add instance to placement group. So this is launch an instance in a placement group to benefit from greater redundancy or higher networking throughput. So we are not going to use this one for this particular lab. Capacity reservation, open is fine, we are not going to do anything. Domain join directory, right now we are not using any directory, so I'm going to say no directory. IAM role, IAM role, I'm not going to change the default, I'm just going to say none at the moment. And rest, I'm just going to go with the default behavior. Here you have a shutdown behavior, stop. You can specify the instance behavior when an OS level shutdown is performed. The behavior is stop. So this is good. And then this enable cloud or digital monitoring. If you want, you can enable. enable termination protection, you can enable accidental protection, enable hibernation as an additional stop behavior. So you can do a lot of things, but we are not going to configure these things right at the moment. We're just going to go with the defaults. And you can also do some advanced settings over in here: enclave, metadata accessible, then metadata version, metadata token, and we are not configuring any of that either. So the next main thing would be, so here this is really for instance diesel in terms of networking, and pretty much we are going to go with the default networking. Okay, if you think about Azure, you can do the same thing. You can go with the default network setting over there as well. So next step is to go and add storage. So by default so we are getting a 30 gigs of storage. Okay, and if you read this, your instance will be launched with the following storage device setting. You can attach additional EBS volumes and instance store volumes to your instance, or edit the setting of the root volume. So if I want, I can change that and make that 60, but at this time I don't have the requirement, so I'm just going to go with this. And again, this volume, you have multiple different types available: GP2, GP3, then IO1, IO2, and magnetic. So I'm just going to go with the default one here as well. And here, read that note: free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 gigs of EBS or magnetic storage. Okay, so here you can learn more about the free tier eligibility. So next, let's go ahead and add some tags. Tags are always good to add. So over here, to add the tag, you can just click on add, and then you can say cloud security training, and then EC2 instance. Okay, so that's my key, and that's the value that I have. Let's see, so that's all good. Let's see, and there we go. And then configure the network security group. So this one I don't need. So next, go to the network security group is what we need to look at next. And in this one, what it's really doing, it's going to create a network security group, and or here it's just called a security group, and it's going to allow the port 3389 from anywhere, so that I can connect over RDP to my machine. So this is saying rules with source 0000/0 allow all IP addresses to access your instance. We recommend setting security group rules to allow access from known IP address only. So right now, what you can do, you can change the source from this to one particular or a range of particular IP address, but for now this is good. And we're just gonna create a new security group because we do not have any security group at the moment. I think we are at the last step now. So now I can click on review and launch. So this is going to give me the review page. So again, it's going to give us the issue that, hey, this is open to the world because your port 3389 is open, and it's giving me the AMI details and port that is open and instances. So if you need to edit anything, you can go back to the previous step. You can want to edit the tags, you can go back there. If you want to edit the storage, you can also click on any of this button to go to the previous stages, but I'm happy with what I have. So what I'll do, I'll click on the launch button. So here what it's asking is to choose an existing key pair, but I don't have any. So what we need to do, create a new key pair. Okay, and I have to give the name for the new key pair, So let's call it Win 2019, okay, KP. And what we need to do, we need to download and save this key pair. So let's just see, download the key pair and make sure here it's downloading. I'm gonna save this by file, so that should go to my downloads folder, and it's right there. So that is all good. So if you read this is important. You gotta download and save. Okay, you have to download the private key file before you can continue. Store it in a secure and accessible location. You will not be able to download the file again after it's created. So this is very important that you download and store it to a secure location. So the next would be to launch the instance. So look at that, how quickly is it's happening. Now it says your instance is now launching. So what I'll do, I'll just go down here and click on the view instances and to see what is going on. So this is the instance that is now in the pending state, and it should get launched momentarily. So just give it a second. Okay, now the instance state is now running, so that means the instance should be running and everything is good. So that's how you deploy a virtual machine, a EC2 instance within the AWS. Now the next thing is, how do you connect to the machine? So let's just work on it. Alright, let's just go to the instance. Okay, so let's check few things. Let's check some of the properties. So I see I have a public IP that's available. Okay, and instance state is still saying pending, so it's still saying not running. So let's just refresh, make sure that is true. No, it says running, so I'm good. So it's running. I have a public IP address that I can use, and here I have some details. It's a Windows platform. I have the launch time, owner, and stuff like that. A virtualization type, HVM, that we knew that. And let's see if there's something else. We have the key pair Windows 2019 KP that we have generated before we created this particular machine to be able to use. From the security standpoint, if you go there is a security group. This is the port 3389 that is open. If you go to networking, we just use the default networking. So again, it's going to give you the public IP address. I'm going to copy this one, by the way, and it's just going to give you the network interface. Again, the public IP is attached to the interface, so you have that IP address in here as well. Storage should have 30 gigs of EBS, okay, and it's attached to dev SDA. And let's go to status checks, and it's just telling you, hey, everything is running, no problem. Monitoring, let's see if there's anything coming up. You gotta probably manage the details of monitoring, but it's just giving you all the graphs for the CPU status check failure and a whole bunch of network out, network in. So a lot of standard networking stuff, you have it in a graphical format. And then you can also look at the tags, which we said cloud security testing is the key, training is the key, and the value is the EC2 instance. So everything looks good so far. So at the top, if you see, we have one button for connect. So that makes sense that if we need to hit the connect button to be able to connect to this particular EC2 instance. Now looks like there are 3 different ways you can connect, right? You can use a session manager, you can use a RDP client, or you can use a EC2 serial console to do that. Now let's for this one we are going to use a RDP client to get to this particular machine. Okay, so let's see how to do that. Alright, so if you are using a Windows machine, okay, all you need to do is download the remote desktop file. So even I'm on Ubuntu, let's just download this one and see what the file is. So I can even open it with a text editor, okay, not download, just open it and see. So what it's telling you, this is the full address and your username is administrator. So you can use the IP address instead of using this one, but you know that initial username is administrator, but you still don't have the password. So to get the password, you have to actually click on that password and then browse, and you're gonna select the file that you have downloaded earlier, okay. And I'm gonna pause the video, so once you open that one, it's gonna decrypt and give you the password, and you just copy the password someplace safe, and you're gonna use that one in your RDP connection to that particular machine. So let me just pause that one, hit it open, and get the password for myself. Give me 1 second. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna just delete this keep here, so you're welcome to see the password that it decrypted. So all I did, clicked on the get password, uploaded my PM file, so I have got my password now. Okay, so that is my username initial and that is my password. So now to be able to connect this one, if you are using the remote, like a Windows RDP client, you can double click on it and it's just going to go through the regular connection, and is going to ask you for the password. You provide the password, you should be able to connect. Now I'm on Ubuntu, so I'm gonna look for RDP. Ubuntu has a Remmina client that I use a lot. So here, what I'm gonna do, I am going to copy the address. So we can copy this, or you can also use the public IP address if you like. So let's just go back to Remmina, close this and put this and hit enter, and it's saying accept the certificate. I'll say yes. So administrator username, so let's just go back and get those. So username is administrator, so let's just copy and put it in here in my Remmina, and password is the crazy long one, so copy this one, and password domain I don't need to provide anything, and hit OK. And if my password is good, I should be able to connect to the machine, and you're looking at it that I am able to do that just fine. So let's just wait for a minute and let's just log in to this Windows machine. And if you look at it, this is my machine. Just say yes, and over here you can go there, maybe just do a CMD on it, open up my CMD and run ipconfig. Let's see, and I'm just wanted to verify here. It's saying my IPv4 address is 172.30.1 Let me just go back over here and see what is this saying. So go back again, and 172.30.1 172.30.1 So you know this is the instance that is running inside Amazon, my AWS, and I can connect to it. Now I can do anything I want. One thing I wanted to quickly check, do I have a direct access to Google? Do I have a internet access? I'm just gonna go to google.com, hit enter, and say OK, and close. Okay, I have to do, no, I do have internet access. Okay, so from here I was able to go there and search for AWS. So, and I'm getting, so the instance that I launched, by default it has access to the internet. So think about it when you are launching your instances. And you can also check this out, if the ping is available. So let's just go ping google.com, and you're getting response from Google. So that's another way to check that whether you have internet connection or not. So let's see what we should do next. We should probably delete this instance. So let me show you how to do that. So what we want to do, we want to go back to the instance menu. So let's just click on that one. I'm going to open up the instance menu again. Here is my instance state, and what we want to do is click on the stop instance first. So that is going to stop the instance and it will not be running anymore. Okay, and let's see what else we can do. And if you want to get rid of the instance, you can click on the terminate instance, and it's gonna say the following instances are already stopping and will be forced stopped. To confirm that you want to terminate the instance, choose terminate button below. Terminating the instance cannot be undone. So I'm okay with that, so I'm just gonna terminate, and it just says successfully stopped and successfully terminated. So let's just go back to the instance menu again, and now it's saying that this particular instance ID is terminated. So even though if you have password, you cannot really go anywhere. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover in this particular video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, join me for more videos, and I'll be doing some more AWS in next few weeks. So hopefully you will enjoy a break from Azure once and start learning some of the AWS stuff as well. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.